some boba. I won't be eating boba the whole time. It's almost gone. But it's been a little while. I took a little break since my birthday. Took a little break to just regroup, reset, beginning of a new year, new birth year, and I wanted to read a lot. I got really into my reading bag and things like that, so I was just taking a little break, but I guess I'll talk a little bit about what I've been reading. You can see back here. I'll grab it. We have Onyx Storm. Little dragon. And my book is so dirty because I don't keep the dust covers on when I'm reading hardback. I know I'm not alone in that. And the same way that I'm really la-di-da with my glasses, I'm very la-di-da with my books. So I've taken this on adventures with me. And I got lucky enough to get one of the sprayed edges copies. It's funny because I picked this up at Barnes & Noble in my birthday vlog. You can see I grabbed it. It was the day after it came out. My birthday was January 22nd. And what's funny is I went to Target after, right? And I saw this book at Target, okay, on this little display, and it said there was 3 copies left, okay, and it was maybe $10 cheaper than what I had just spent at Barnes & Noble, right? And I was they had a sign up already that said, unfortunately, we are completely out of Target Target Onyx Storm. There is no more. They had signs all over the display, but they did still have 3 copies left. So they were proactively putting signs that they didn't have anymore, and I thought, I don't know, whatever, it's not worth the $10 to buy this, go back and return it. Barnes & Noble, it was just gonna be too much. So it wasn't until later on that I found out that Target had these exclusive editions, and people were selling the same copies that I just blindly walked past for $100 on eBay and whatever. And I will say, I don't really believe in that. That's not my style of things. I've never done that. I didn't do it with the Eris book. I didn't do it with, Onyx Storm. It's not my thing to find things and then know that it's limited edition. People do with Stanley Cups and stuff and then sell them to make a profit. I respect the grind if you participate in that, but that's just too much for me. Not that it's even morally gray for me. It's just that I don't want to spend my money to buy extra copies of something just that I can sell it and then you can ship it to people, and I don't want to do all that. Even if you're making a profit, it's just too much. But you can see I have this much left to read. I got stuck around page 100, and I was let's talk about it for a minute. Actually, this won't have any spoilers, promise, but around page 100 I got stuck, and I was you know what, I'm bored, I'm confused, what am I even reading right now? And it just threw me right back into Iron Flame, where I spent the entire book confused. Okay, Fourth Wing was so good. I mean, obsessed, loved it. There was just so much potential there, okay, to become one of my favorite Sawyer, Garrick, Bodie, Liam, Brendan, Mark, Anthony, James, George, Lucy. Like, those aren't even names from the book, but I'm just saying, like, that's how it started to feel. And don't even get me started on, like, the different rulers or, like, political people and, like, what their power even is, what they reign over. I don't know. Before I started Onyx Storm, I watched a 45-minute long video here on YouTube of this woman. I think she was Australian, but I don't remember her name, but I think she had an Australian accent, and she gave the most detailed, but not excessive, 45-minute long recap of Fourth Wing and Iron Flame before you get to Onyx Storm, and it was so good that I thought for sure I'm gonna go into Onyx Storm and I'm gonna be like on it, okay? But if I'm being honest, I shouldn't have even had to do that. Like, I'm not stupid. I've been reading my whole life. Housemaid. I had listened to The Boyfriend from her. Didn't like it. I thought that was just not a good book, okay? Then I listened to Housemaid, another like 3-star, really just not that great. Then I listened to The Crash and I got 20% in before I figured out what was going to probably happen, knowing Frida, knowing the way that she writes her books, knowing her twists. So I listened to about 20%. I start to figure out what I think is going to happen. I decide to DNF the book. I go to Goodreads reviews, look up a spoiler review, and not only was I right in theory, but I was right to DNF. It wasn't good, apparently. The first 20% wasn't very good. I liked where the story, if you've read it, I liked where the story sounded like it was originally going. I didn't like it after The Crash. I think there was one review that said something about how she is sort of just like pushing out these books that I'm sure it's the publisher, I'm sure it's not her fault. It's a Frida McFadden book releases. They are quick money cash grabs, people eat those books up. And I ate up the first 2 books I read by her. I really ate up The Teacher and I really ate up Never Lie, and I thought they were really good. And I don't know if it's because all of her books start to follow the same ridiculous twists, that they're not even like believable, they're not realistic at all. Like, you pretty much always know that there's characters that you can't trust, who it says they are on the, for face value, whatever. And I don't know if that's why, because I started to figure out the pattern of things, and so now it's not enjoyable, but I think I've decided I'm not going to read any more of her books. Once I listened to The Crash and it wasn't very good, and I listened to The Housemaid, and I'm still going to watch the show or the movie, whichever it is, because I like those actors and actresses, but I'm not really into it. I don't think I'm really into her books anymore, which is a shame, because they were, in the beginning, when I was first listening to her audiobooks, they were an easy, quick, like, get me out of a reading slump thing to listen to while I was driving or something, and it usually really gripped my attention, but not so much anymore. Also, the Grammys just happened recently. The Scammies. I'm not a fan of the Scammies. I'm sorry. If you like Beyonce, I have no issues with Beyonce. I'm not a fan of hers, to be honest. Like, I'm not a fan of Beyonce. I don't listen to her. I listen to a few of her older songs, but I don't like go out of my way to listen to a Beyonce album. Sorry. So, I know there's a lot of uproar about her winning. Not only, I believe she won Album of the Year, but she also won, did she win Album of the Year? Was it Kendrick Lamar? I don't know, whatever. All I know is that she won the Country Album of the Year, and people are very upset. Jay listens to country, and he's one of those people that was like, are you kidding me? Like, Jay listens to country, and he listens to, like, hip-hop, and, he listens to all kinds of different things, and he only recently got into country. It's the thing. He used to listen to, like, hip-hop, old school, rap, stuff like that. And then more recently, in the last couple of years, he just, like, became a fan of country. And, even he is just like, what? Like, Beyonce? Like, I don't get it. And, I understand. I think someone, when they accepted their award, it might have been Beyonce. Alright, there was an ambulance. I think that it was somebody had mentioned that, genre is something that they made up in order to keep artists in boxes. And I agree to that, to an extent of, I think you can put out whatever kind of music you want. However, I just think not that she didn't put out a country album, like, I haven't listened to it, so, if it's classified as country, then it's country. I don't know. I've only ever heard, like, the country pop, like, Texas Hold'em or whatever. she didn't win any Grammys this year. I mean, I think at the end of the day, like, Ariana Grande's always snubbed at the Grammys. I think Taylor got a little snubbed this year. I think at the end of the day, like, if you're putting out music and it's doing well as far as streams and public opinion, that, you know, the awards are fun, but there's more important things, you know. I will say, when the Oscars come up, if Cynthia, Ariana, and Wicked don't win some sort of Oscar for literally any category, I don't even care what it is, that's like, you guys are dumb, you know, like, that's like, you guys are just like ignoring the facts of what a fabulous production that was, and the way that it ran rampant over the world, and had us all in a chokehold, and still does. So I will say that. But besides that, you know, awards there's more important things. But what else? We're still like on track for our move to Arizona, so that's really exciting. This is gonna, you know, hopefully, fingers crossed, if everything goes well, this will be our last full year living where we live. I'm gonna take my glasses off now because the reflection is driving me crazy. Okay. I'm excited that this is gonna be potentially our last year here because our neighbors are moving. And if you don't know, we live in a duplex sort of situation, which is basically like a house that's cut in half. Only, like, for our situation, both halves are not identical. They're very, very different, actually. We've seen both halves of the house, and they are both completely separate houses. Not anything alike. But our house is one older Victorian house, and then it's split up into two different units. And so, because of that, basically, we have a shared basement where you get to it from the outside door, and the outside door is like down our driveway, and so you have to walk down, if you're like the neighbor, okay, like if you're the other people that live in our building, you have to walk down our driveway to get to the basement door. Then you go downstairs into the basement, and there's two more doors. That one door leads to our part of the basement, one door leads to theirs, and you could lock it if you wanted to keep your stuff safe, but we've never felt the need to. The people that we live with, they're cool, they're around their age, they're chill, they're nice. We've never had any issues with them at all. As far as packages going missing, like, nothing, okay? Our packages will always get delivered to their porch, even though we have a porch. People just never put it on our porch for some reason. They always put it on theirs. So we always have to go to their porch, grab our packages. Sorry, there's a train, and it's like, it just keeps blowing its horn, and I keep trying to, like, catch it to cut it out, and, oh, okay. But we've just never had issues with them. But it is living in very close quarters, very close proximity to each other. So, they are apparently going to be moving, like, in the next couple of months, which means we're gonna have someone new, most likely, moving into the spot where they live now. I say most likely because my landlord has been selling his properties, and I'm not sure if he has plans to sell this one. I don't know if he knows that we're leaving in the next, like, year or so, and so maybe he's thinking, well, let's just not put a tenant in because, you know, whenever that they leave, we'll just sell the building. I don't know. I really don't. It's, you know, up in the air. I haven't really heard anything about it. I know he's not selling the building now because we did just get, like, a lease renewal that's coming up, so I know that, you know, we at least have our place to live for the next year. It's actually interesting because the way my landlord does things, he's like a private landlord, and it's not always by the book, to be honest. And perfect because that would be potentially around the time that we want to be moving. So we have had, like I said, like a whole year to go. Like, it's not happening tomorrow, but it's happening relatively quickly in my brain, because I remember talking about this a year ago. So we're a little nervous about new people moving in, living in such close proximity, because you just never know. You know, you never know who your neighbor's gonna be. We've had really, really good neighbors, and we've had and have a really horrible, horrific, terrible, mean, nasty neighbor who I drove by the other day and drives like an idiot. But that's like a side note, that's like a whole other story. But I think I've mentioned my like mean, horrible, nasty neighbor before, and her son, or like weird son. He's not a little kid, by the way. I'm not like trashing a little kid, but he's like a grown-ass man. But we don't get along with her. Nobody does. Nobody gets along with her. It's not even just us. All our other neighbors we get along with so well. My one neighbor that lives on the other side of us, they own their house, loves us. I mean, they like love us. Jay was over there just the other day for like 3 hours just talking. Their names are Tom and Juan. We love Tom and Juan. Love Tom and Juan, okay? And then we have other Tom. And other Tom lives on the other side of us, and his name is also Tom, but we call him Other Tom because he moved in after we already had known Tom and Juan, you know? Anyway, I could do like a whole neighborhood gossip video about all my neighbors. But nobody gets along with the crazy lady. That's what we call her, the crazy lady. So we're just hoping that we get another like a Tom and Juan / Other Tom / my other neighbors like situation, and not a crazy lady situation that's like stealing our packages or walking by our cars in the driveway and like doing weird stuff, or like anything weird where we'd have to start like keeping our basement door locked or something. I just like hope we're not gonna have to deal with any of that. But it also does make me a little bit less concerned knowing that this is gonna hopefully be our last year. So even if somebody did move in like this summer or something, I feel like the unit probably wouldn't be ready until this summer. Sorry. Even if someone did move in, I feel like we would have like less than a year that we'd have to live with them. So hopefully everything would be chill. But maybe I'm worried for no reason and they're gonna be like really cool people. I just get nervous because I've had another neighbor situation, which is why we moved here, was because of our last neighbors at our other place. That, like I said, it's a whole neighborhood gossip I could do about old neighbors. Sorry, speaking of, I think Tom's but yeah, I should do like a whole video. You guys would be like, what on earth? Hold on. Okay guys, I'm gonna be honest, Jay just got home. I completely forgot what I was talking about. And I sat here for like 5 minutes trying to remember what I was talking about. I can't remember. I know it has something to do with my neighbors. I've just had really crazy neighbor stories, okay? That's all. But yeah, we're gonna probably have some new neighbors moving in. We're gonna see if they're fun, fresh, and funky, or if they're just funky. What else have I been up to? Watched a couple of good movies. The Watchers with Dakota Fanning. That was a fun one. It's a little, I think both these movies are like a little older. I also watched Kato Lake with Dylan O'Brien, and that was a fun one. It was fun to like kind of guess the twists and turns and start to like put it all together. It was fun. Oh, another book that I read while I listened to was Tom Felton, who played Draco Malfoy. His memoir came out a few years ago, but I just now got around to listening to it. He actually narrates it himself, which is always a plus. It's kind of the only way I would listen to a memoir, honestly, because otherwise I would be kind of bored listening to someone else read someone else's life story. It just doesn't sound right. But it was really good. It was really interesting to kind of see this journey that he went on into fame, and him as a little younger boy, and then as a teenager, and it was really interesting to see his journey through acting. It definitely wasn't like all human journey that we didn't know about, or, you know, just, it was really interesting to kind of take that wall down of him being such a, you know, famous actor on such a famous movie series, you know. He's such a famous face for that iconic brand that is Harry Potter, and to take that and see like who he truly is, like, as a person, and who he was growing up and things like that was really interesting. So I actually really enjoyed the memoir. I think I gave it like 4 stars, but it was